So like when you read to him, you find it really important to just keep it fun, interesting, and light to try to get him to get into the whole reading time.
Yes, the better he feels about it, the more he will enjoy reading on his own.
Which at home, what is that called? Affective filter.
Affective filter. It's the most important one. The other ones are important, but yeah, that's the most important.
Well, yeah, this is another thing, because you have your master's in TESOL.
Yep.
So from your experience in the TESOL program, there were 5 really important things that stood out to you, right? That you try to incorporate into your teaching?
More, but yeah, these 5 are very
core,
important.
like 5 core concepts that we can give in like a bite-sized thing here.
Sure. So these are Krashen's 5 second language learning hypotheses. First one is acquisition learning hypothesis, which means the content the ESL student gets should be meaningful, important, relevant.
So that's one of the things that I see a lot of academies do, is they try to do like this English-only approach, where they take students who are in like 5th grade, and then they give them books that are only in English, but the books are written for like 1st graders, because this is a cat. The cat is big, right? And so like it's correct. It's right at their level, but it's just 5th graders just don't care about it.
They don't want that.
Right.
It's too baby stuff for them.
Right. So it completely fails the acquisition learning hypothesis.
Sure. So the next one is the monitor hypothesis, and that's where you have a filter in your brain that stops you from speaking another language. You think to yourself, is it correct?
Right.
The more you can break that filter and just speak, the better, because fluency is blocked by the monitor. Right.
And so this is exactly what you were talking about before, where you were saying you need to create that environment where the students will be comfortable, which is the affective filter hypothesis, but they'll be comfortable enough that monitor in their brain can just kind of quiet down a bit.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
Right, we turn off that. It's hard to turn it off. You just quiet it down a little bit.
So a lot of the Waegooks in Korea say, like, oh, when I drink beer, I speak Korean a lot better.
Right.
That's because the monitor is shut. It's an inhibition.
Where they're not actually speaking better. They're just, that monitor has, well, maybe beer is the one way to actually silence it. It's gone, and you can just feel free to make mistakes.
As you want.
Right. Yeah.
So for children, that's not possible. What we need to do is make them comfortable and make it so that there are real language opportunities in the classroom.
Right.
So the third one is input hypothesis. Input hypothesis means that the students are learning content that is at their level or a little bit harder.
Right.
So Krashen says I plus 1, and I is whatever input level you should have. So let's say you are level 5. You should be learning level 5 and level 6 stuff. Level 7, 8, 9
is beyond you.
You will not learn it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
When there are a lot of kids that come here for level tests.
Yes.
And they'll bring the book that they had from the previous academy, and it'll be like an insanely high level book, and above every word is the Korean word for that, and it's like, what can you possibly be getting from this?
Korean moms are very ambitious.
Right.
They want the best for their children, and I totally understand. I want the best for my child.
Yes.
But I also have to be realistic about what his ability level is, because above that is not valuable to him.
Right.
It is counterproductive because it can turn the monitor on way high or bring the affective filter way down.
Yeah. Next is the affective filter, which we've talked about a bit.
We talked a lot about it.
But just to recap, happy.
It sounds silly, but a lot of Korean parents frown upon games in the classroom.
Right.
And games take that affective filter away. I have students who are very, very basic level. I've had them like 6 times. And we play games all the time.
Right.
We get up, and we stretch, and we do the hokey pokey, and we do head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Right. It all improves the mood of the class. It's one part of the classroom that a lot of parents don't understand exists is the relationship between the child and the teacher.
Yeah.
It's like there are things that you have to do in the classroom that are not necessarily about teaching content, but about building the relationship and building the mood of the class in order to be able to have your student be happy and learning in the future.
It's so important.
Right.
And it's difficult because it seems like that time is wasted time. And
Right.
It's absolutely not.
Right.
So if I have to chastise a child, if I have to be like, hey, stop it.
Right.
I can break the mood instantly, and I can stop language learning for that kid and maybe even other children. So it is really important for the teachers to understand how important
Yes.
that level of happiness, and of course there is a crazy level that you can't go beyond because the students
there's
wild.
If you guys are interested, I've done a breakdown of all of the different kinds of academies there are in Korea. I categorize them in another video.
All right.
And that's going to be up here too. So you take a look at that. And one of the categories I mentioned is a play school. And like play schools, they have their place where it's like they put the child with the foreigner and they're just like, okay, play. And everyone's really happy. But there's no structure to it at all.
Yes.
So it's like you are sacrificing learning for happiness. And there is like you go to that extreme.
There is a balance.
Right. You need the balance. And so in that video I told the parents if they want to send their kid to a play school, that's great. Do it. But keep in mind what it is and don't do it forever, because at a certain point after you've built up interest, then you need to get them into a place that is fun and also progressing.
Yeah. There will be some ability increase, but it will be like from basic to intermediate basic,
right?
And then probably will not get beyond that.
That's it. Yeah. And then the last one is the natural order.
The natural order hypothesis is the least important one, but it is that there is a structure, hierarchy of things to learn from basic all the way to advanced.
Right, and that's one of the big difference between, again, in the other video I talk about this, between ESL classrooms and EFL classrooms.
Okay.
So like in the ESL classroom where they try to just use English only and give you books that are mixed up with all the different kinds of grammar.
Right.
It's very hard for Koreans to learn it because they don't have enough time. If you're in America and you're surrounded by English, you can learn that way because you have all of this input 24 hours a day.
Right.
The EFL books, they build up on grammar and they take that natural order into account more. The downside of them is that if you're only trying to use the natural order, you're ignoring everything else. So it's like that's why it's the least important. Like you have to have some form of order,
sure,
but you don't have to only focus on that.
That's correct.
Yeah.